One two one two，歡迎參加呢個紅酒嘅講座。
Have to start on time. Can you just give them a little holler? Everybody. Yeah, 'cause lots going on today. So please try to fill out the paper if you're coming in for the sound workshop. Take a seat and just, that's okay. You're part of the chairperson too. Right, we have another one, Pack. Okay, have a seat, Pack. You can fill out the paper that's on your seat. You're gonna take just a minute and, oh yeah. This is tough work. You gotta get 100, okay? 25哇，好慘啊，係啊，已經肥佬啊，你答唔到一題。We're just gonna wait 2 more minutes for latecomers, and then we're going to begin. Hello, if you're joining us for the sound workshop, you can have a seat. There's a little survey you can take on your chair if you can fill it out. Get a general idea of how much you know about sound. Yeah, it would be good if you can write your name. That I can kind of understand, where it's coming from, if it's from worship team members or it's from congregational members. So welcome everyone. This is our first ever audio sound workshop at CCBC, right? Am I right? I've been here 25 years, I think, just a slash table. We came up with this idea, back in January when we had an annual meeting of our worship team, that, we needed to educate more people about the digital team, about the sound, about, what we can do better as a church. Some of these things are really behind the scene, but actually people are running them, right? People are doing it. So back then, Corey and I had this talk and we were like, we just need to do something about this. It seems like it's just 2 people doing like a 10-person job. So this is how it came about. I know that digital team was really doing a lot of the work with their plate, and then on top of that, they had the audio portion, which is also a big part of it. I was always very sensitive to music and sound and instruments, but I never knew all this behind the scene that was happening, or how things kind of came about with this mixer and how things run through these speakers. So ultimately, we really, kind of came to the conclusion that this ministry, this sound ministry or this sound person, really creates an environment where people, when they come to church, when we want to engage in worship, we want to do it without distractions. And when you have a good audio team, this is get the key, right? It's when you are doing things and when people are not realizing it. So this is the agenda we have for today. We're going to do a little introduction. I kind of want to hear from you guys where you guys are at in terms of how much audio background you know. And then Corey and Ray, who are a little bit more experts in this area than I am, they're going to, run through some of the things that are, actually that what we are using in the church today. So like I said, great audio, it's not about being noticed, but it's really removing those distractions that people can come and encounter and worship God. And the thing is, great audio ministry is invisible. Okay, it's only when people, when things fall apart is when people think, oh, okay, something is wrong with the sound, something is wrong with the speaker, something is buzzing, something doesn't sound right. So can you imagine hosting an event, okay, or you're doing an outreach, but you don't have the mics, you don't have the speakers, you don't have the entire system that allows people to kind of portray your message, portray what you're trying to tell them. So again, totally inexperienced. He's more experienced, but he's super experienced. So this is Ray, this is Corey, and myself, I'm Cindy. We are here just to share with you today some of the knowledge that we have on this. Just very, just sharing, okay, and how we can improve and serve one another at church. So before we talk about sounds, cables, mixers, microphones, we want to talk about why audio actually matters. When sound is done right, like I said, people don't notice it, okay? So, here I think is where we can talk a little bit about, what what is on a scale of 1 to 10, how knowledgeable are we at this mixing, and any challenges and any things that you want to improve in this area. So can I have a hand of anybody who thinks they're pretty knowledgeable in sound? About a 10, a 9, 8, 7. Okay, you're an 8. Very good. 7, 6, 5, 4. Okay, 5, 4. 3, 2, 1s. Okay, you're 1. All right, I'm a 0.5, probably 0.5 right here. So, and also I'm sure you guys are good with ears, right? I'm sure anyone is good with listening. If there's something that you want to improve, or you hear that something is, you feel like there's something that needs to be improved, can we just shout it out? What is one thing that you think CCBC needs a little bit of work in? Words, any phrases, anything that you notice that we can do better in sound. We just want to get an idea of what we are listening to right now with the three of us. Or no improvement. This is perfect. CCBC is perfect. We're good. Yeah? EQ. Okay. EQ. Okay. What's EQ? Okay, so we got EQ is like IQ. No, I'm just kidding. Corey, you're gonna run through that, right? The EQ. Okay, Ray's gonna run through that. Yeah, he's gonna define all the words. Okay. not the emotional quotient, right? Yes. Know it. Very good. Yeah, that's actually, my goal of doing this too, because I'm a 0.5, so I have no idea what everything, how to open it. But yes, the whole cohesiveness. Anything? Anybody else? Pack? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the IEM, right? Would that work? That'll be okay. Mm. Yeah. we- So we can look into that. So any other things that you want to try to improve? You feel like just throw it out. Yeah. To talk back. Hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it. Cool. 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 Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. 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 Oh, so that's a little bit more complicated. We're gonna have to ask Ray about that. Okay, so thank you. I'm gonna take all those papers at the end. Anybody else want to share? No? Okay. So this is my next slide. Some just as introduction, okay? I'm gonna throw it for Corey and Ray next, but just introduction. Audio team is really the behind the scenes ministry. Like I just said, it's really allowing the invisible to happen. That people are not realizing it, but it's actually really balancing everything out. So balance is the key. But with this team, also humility is matters most. When people are running to you, oh, I need this up. Okay, I need this down. I need. Okay, 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 okay. So it's kind of it's a struggle. Okay, for anyone who's worked a sound team, you really have to be humble enough to work your position, but at the same time to speak the truth. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So, but there's no right or wrong. But there are foundations and standards, and it's not realistic to try to please everyone's ears. We did come up with something. With the last bullet is not everyone should be able to control the panel. Only assigned, qualified, trained personnel to operate it and to be able to control. Can you imagine? Everyone's trying to control the same thing. We are, very subjective in sound. What I hear different is what different from what you hear. So I think there's a lot of balance, humility, and also a lot of grace that comes into this. So I'm going to give it to Corey next.
So thank you, everyone. First of all, I'm definitely not an expert in sound. I'm just someone who has been around for many years, kind of like see when everything is like set up and then kind of so I kind of put together like some slides to show you guys. And so for my part, um, my objective today would be to, oh, the font is so small, to give all worship team members a clear, shared understanding of how the church audio system is laid out, how each channel is assigned, the signal flow through the mixer, how proper setup shut down to protect the equipment and help rehearsal and worship run smoothly. Um, so let's see. So first of all, this is the big picture, right? It's all about getting all the input going to the mixer. Anyone know where is the mixer in our church? Right. Yeah, this is the mixer. This is a digital mixer, and then the mixer makes all the sound and give output. Right. So there are many different type of output. There are the in-ear monitor transmitter. There are monitor send. There's also YouTube feed, and there's the main left-right speaker. I'm gonna like talk more later on. So basically, input output, right? So what the mixer does is it receives all the input signal. Input signal could be from the mic, from the instrument, and also from the PC, right? Sometimes when we playing some pad, like some music, anything, right, from the PC. So each channel you can adjust the input gain, the EQ, the level. Ray's gonna talk more about the mixer. I don't know anything about like how to like adjust like inside the mixer, but like I'm just gonna talk about how our church the layout is gonna be, and then it send different mixers to different output. So there a house mix for the congregation. The house mix would be these four speakers, right? The main speaker for the audience, and their monitor mixes for musician on the stage. So this is one of the the floor mix, right? This is the guitar mix, and that's a drum mix, right? So three mix, like from what we can see here, right? And there's also a separate feed for the YouTube and live stream that goes into this snake box. It's like 100 feet long and go through the ceiling, go all the way to the back, go to YouTube, right? So no, I'm not gonna define that. Like I said, I'm not an expert. So, okay, yeah, yeah. Later on. So gain is like pretty much if someone like talk too low, you can like kind of increase the volume like before going to the output, right? So EQ is like putting salt and pepper into the food. Like I don't know how to do it. Okay, yeah. So this is the mixer. Um, so it with all the cable plugged in, it looks really complicated. But if you unplug all the cable, you can see there actually 18 channel that you can like input the sound. Like for each channel, you can have a different instrument, different mics, right? So for the first 16 channels, you can plug in either a quarter-inch cable or XLR cable. For 17, 18 is the two like on the side that we rarely use, and the bottom row there's odd send. Let me see what's the next slide. Maybe that's a better picture. Yeah. So the bottom six is the odd send, or someone called a bus, right? The bus assignment. Those are the six output channel that send to mix the sound and then send it back out, right? And then the two extra like button on the right side, that would be the house main left, right? So these six are the odd send, and these two is the house main output. Yes, I will. I will. Yeah, so this is like a diagram I put together. The purple line are all the input, right? There, it could be a mic, could be a PC, if you're playing YouTube, right? Or it could be keyboard, drum, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, or condenser mic from the ceiling. Or like some instrument, they use two channels to make the sound more discrete, right? And I'm gonna like split it more like into input and output as well. Yeah, so this is just like an overview. Yeah, I'm sure this is gonna show up again later. So what are channels, right? Channels are individual input on the mixer that receive audio from a specific source, such as a mic, instrument, or computer. Each channel allows you to control that source independently by adjusting the gain, the volume, the EQ, and routing to different output like the main speaker or monitor mix. And each vocal mic, guitar, keyboard should have its own channel so it can be balanced and adjust without affecting other sound. So in the mixer, each channel you can control specifically like how you want it to sound like, right? You want a more treble, more bass, or yeah. So what is a direct box? Anyone know what is a direct box? Yeah, so this direct box, right? The silver boxes, and there are many different type of direct box. I think there was another one. Oh yeah, this is another direct box, right? So what it does is kind of clean the signal. Yeah, so it converts an instrument signal into a balanced XLR signal so it can be sent cleanly to the mixer. It reduces the noise and interference, especially if it's over a very long cable run. It commonly used with acoustic guitar, keyboard, bass, laptop, or iPad. It also has a ground lift switch to help eliminate the hum. Sometimes you hear like a right? And then if there's a switch, you just flip it and it can eliminate that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, especially acoustic instrument. Yeah, it's better to go through a direct box. So these are the current channel setup. So the first four are the four Sennheiser wireless mic. Go from green, red, blue, white. Like ideally, I prefer when we set up the mic, we kind of set up in the right order, so it's much easier for the sound person to like control. Like if someone playing piano, start with the green, right, and then go with red, blue, white, or at least in the right order. If you're not, let's say if you're not picking the red mic today, but still go with the right order. So it makes it much easier. And Channel 5 is another wireless mic that Jerry usually used, the Shure mic, like Jerry from Chinese Congregation. Yeah, I think somewhere here, but it's okay. So, and there's specific receiver for those Shure mics. So this is the Sennheiser mic and the two Shure receiver on top. And then yeah, so the two receiver for the pastor mic, channel 5, channel 6, they look exactly the same. So make sure we turn them on, the correct one. But once you press that button, all the whole unit here will turn on. And so channel A is broken, so make sure you don't use it or it's gonna create a huge buzz. And so it's pretty much whatever is listed. Let's see. Yeah, so some instrument use two channels to make the sound like more stereo. Yeah, so this is the Sennheiser mic, and then the Shure mic on the left, and those are the yeah. So this is the input source. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So you see at the bottom, the piano go through a direct box and then go into the channel, right? The drum go from the drum module and to the drum amp, and then from the amplifier, it goes to the mixer, right? And so what is a bus assignment? What's odd send, right? Some people call it a bus, and some call it odd send, right? So there's 6 odd send in the mixer. So it's a signal path inside the mixer that allows sending select audio channels to a specific output. It creates a specific separate mix for a particular purpose. That means you can use the same input to create different mixes, such as sending one mix to the house speaker for the congregation, another to the floor monitor on stage, and another to the in-ear monitor or live stream. Each bus have its own balance of vocal instrument depending on what the listener need. Like for example, if you let's say Eunice playing acoustic guitar, right? For your own guitar mix, right? You probably don't need like that much volume for the guitar because you're already creating acoustic sound from your own guitar. You might need more of a vocal or drum or piano coming from your own monitor, right? But for the vocal, right, you might want a different mix. You might not need that much drumming from your monitor because you just want to hit the right melody, right? To hit the right um, rhythm. So you might just need a little bit of guitar, a little bit of piano. So everybody can choose their own mix. Um, yeah, so for this monitor, this is the Singer Mon. Um, so this is bus one. But for the in-ear monitor, there's 6 different channels, and channel 1 to 4 are loop into the in-ear monitor and then loop out to different monitor. So you can either use the in-ear monitor or using the floor mount to listen to your mix. So what is a monitor? Monitor is a speaker mix meant for people on the stage, not for the congregation. It helps the singer, musician hear what they need during rehearsal and worship. And like this monitor are the one that make the pop like most of the time. So make sure you shut off at the like properly. And I'm gonna go through the sequence of turn on and turn off later on. So what is IEM? IEM stands for in-ear monitor. So instead of the sound coming out from the floor speaker, the monitor makes sent to an IEM transmitter, like I mentioned earlier, then wirelessly to a body pack and into the earphone. So this is where we keep the body pack. Is it? Wait, where is it? Uh-oh. Yeah. Yeah, so these are the body pack to sync it. You can, so first put the battery in and you turn it on, and there's a button. There are 4 different channels, right? You just press the button and put close to it, and then it's gonna sync to that bus. Yeah, that monitors. And then you can bring your own headphone, plug it in, and then it's pretty straightforward. No. Mhm. Okay. Yes, you can use the Mixer app. iPhone and Android. Yes. Yes. I think body pack. Yeah, right here there are, no, actually there are more than that. There are like 6 pack, 6 body pack. So it's possible to have different body pack using the same channel. Eight. So 4 channel. Each channel can connect to 2 body pack. So let's say 2 vocalists using 1 channel, right? Guitar, yeah, using 1 channel, bass and drum using another channel, right? Pianist using another channel. That's possible, right? Yeah. And so this is how it looks like. You can bring your own headphone, and you just press that little gray button in the front and put the body pad right next to it, and it will sync to whatever bus channel it is. And it will loop directly out into this monitor. So this is the singer, that's the guitar, and this is the drum monitor. This is the drum amplifier. Yeah, so this one only like play whatever the drum is playing, but this is the mix. This is the monitor for the drum. Hold on. Any question so far? Yeah. So yeah, these are the four bus setup. One is singer, two is piano, three is guitar, and four is drum. And bus six goes to YouTube. Yeah. So yeah, it's possible you can use the mixer app to control your individual mix. Like, oh, I want more guitar, I want less piano. You can control that. Just make sure you don't mess with the wrong output. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So amplifier is the speaker for that particular instrument. It boosts signal power so it can drive a speaker properly. Floor monitor, a speaker on the stage, aim at the musician. The purpose is stage monitoring, not audience coverage. And house speaker are these four. They're the main left-right speaker for the congregation. And I think I have yeah, so this is like a simplified version. So a guitar, acoustic guitar, go to the direct box. The direct box go to the mixer. And then there are different output. One goes to the house speaker, and then it goes through the IEM back to the guitar monitor. Or like you can take a body pad and do it through in ear. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Because it go through the IEM. Right. Yes. So to make sure it works, you can just get an XLR plug directly from OS1 to here, and that will guarantee it will work. The current moment is go through here to the IEM, loop out, back to, no, right now it's not, oh, it's already changed, okay, all right. Okay, it was took out, okay, route, yep, okay, good. Bus 2, bus 3, bus 4. Yes. Perfect. So I thought about an analogy this morning, so which is our Chinese New Year feast. So I feel like each channel is like during Chinese New Year feast, we each of us brought in a dish to the table, right? Let's say I bring in like a dish of veggie, right? And then the table is like the mixer. It organize all the food into many different tray, right? And the output is like I'm bringing my plate to get the food. So as a veggie person, I want more veggie on my plate, and I want a little bit of beef. I want a little bit of like egg tart or whatever. So that's my mix, right? As a veggie eating person, I want more veggie on my plate, and different person will have a different preference. So um, that's my mix. And yeah, so for this mixer, we have 6 different plate to have different content on the plate, right? So that's the function of the mixer. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this analogy. So this is the weekly checklist for worship services. A lot of them is very basic, and yeah, but what we want to do is try to like standardize the the procedures so everybody doing the same thing at the right order. So it's pretty straightforward. So once we came in the every morning, right, we make sure we turn on the sanctuary light, the wall light, the spotlight, and the cross LED. So the cross LED remote is at the drawer here. So this is the LED light. The pastor might have a specific preference, like what color they want. So make sure you ask the pastor. And yeah, so the spotlight is extremely important, especially for like YouTube, because otherwise the face will be really dark. And yeah, and make sure you turn on the projector and the TV screen. So why lighting is matter? Because you turn on the light so you won't trip over on the cable and equipment, right? And it create a consistent visual environment for rehearsal and worship. And also the camera and the projector, they have a more stable lighting, right? Because when it turn on, it set a balance of the color. If you turn it on later, it might affect it. And so it reduced last minute adjustment before service start. And why turn on the projector and the screen early? Because the display and projector use the HDMI handshake to detect signal. Turning on a TV late, sometimes it will trigger new handshake request, and then it will trigger the projector system to restart. So sometimes we forgot to turn on this TV, and when we turn on late, once we turn it on, the whole like projector need to reset, restart, and it might delay the service, right? So make sure to turn. That's a very good question. That's a very good question. I'm gonna get to that. Um, so power on, always go from instrument to mixer to speaker. And power off, always go from speaker, mixer, and instrument, right? So what makes something pop, right, is always the speaker. Um, if the speakers are not on, there won't be pop. So why sequence matter? It prevents loud pop dumps from being amplified, ensure stable signal path before. So that's the goal, to create a stable signal path first before the amplification. So it reduces the noise spikes and feedback, and to protect the speaker from damage, extend the lifespan, right? So first thing first, we always want to turn on the instrument first. Acoustic guitar, electric guitar, you plug it in and then turn on the own instrument amplifier first. Drum, same thing, turn on the drum module, the drum amplifier. And then the microphone, you take the mic from the rack, right? This is where we keep all the 4 wireless mic. And you get the 2 AA battery, turn it on, check the battery, And for Pastor, you set up the Shure mic, the clip-on mic. Like anyone have no like, or anyone doesn't know how to set up the. So this is the Pastor Shure wireless mic. So when we clip on the mic, make sure it's not like too low to like sometimes their jacket like over it, and then make sure the spot that you clip on doesn't rub with anything, right? So if there's jacket over on top, it might rub it if it's too low. So make sure it's somewhere that has minimal movement. Like if it's a tie or anything, make sure clip it somewhere that won't move. Yeah. So, and then the receiver. So this is the button to turn on all the receiver for the wireless mic. And also this will turn on the mixer as well. So prepare the mixer. So you take out the mixer, mute all the channel, right? And then you press the button from according to the sequence, tape on the wall, 3, 2, 1. You separate 5 seconds between each button. And like, this is pretty like dangerous because there's a like seat over there. Once you sit down and then once you lean on the wall, you can accidentally like shut off those all 3 power, and then the whole surface will be shut off. So make sure you don't lean on the wall. Yeah. So you turn on the whole speaker, 3 switches, and then you turn on the singer, all 3 floor monitor. So that's the sequence. So this is the signal path example. So you want to go from the beginning to the end, right? So you first turn on the instrument first, and then mixer, and then the whole speaker. Yeah, so one by one. Complete the signal path before turn on the anything that will make sound. So to shut off, to turn off, right? To power off, first you turn off all the floor monitor first. It's completely the opposite order. Turn off all the monitor, and then the whole speaker follow the same turn off sequence, separate by 5 seconds each. And then you get and then you turn off the instrument one by one, right? Guitar amplifier, unplug it, bass amplifier, unplug it, drum amplifier, and then the drum module and the piano. So also like this like house rule, make sure you take out all the battery, return to the rack, recharge the battery. There's a charger on the wall, and shut off the IEM. The IEM, make sure you turn it off. And the receiver, you turn it off. And the last but not least, recharge the iPad, turn off the TV, the projector, and shut off the light and lock the door. Right. So, okay, so that's my part. Anyone have any questions so far? Or anyone want to share your knowledge? Yes. Yes, thank you.
There will be any damage if you, instead of like understanding that the speaker has to go off first. What happens if we turn off the mixer first instead of the instrument? Would that damage the mix too?
I don't quite follow.
Because the chart was when power off, we turn off the speaker, then the mixer,
Monitor, the floor mon first.
floor monitor first, and
Uh-huh.
then the instrument.
And then the three switches, which is control the whole speaker.
Because in the chart, it was like speaker, then the mixer, then an instrument.
Yes.
Now, after we turn off the speaker and we turn off the instrument and we leave the mixer off last, would that damage the mixer? Or that was just
No, it's mainly the speaker that can easily get damaged.
okay. So long as we turn off the speaker first and turn it on last, it
Yes.
doesn't matter which if you turn on the mixer or the instrument.
This is where the switch for the mixer is. Yeah, so ideally turn on the instrument first, and then the mixer. Yeah, and then the speaker. Yeah. Turn off. Yeah, turn. Yeah. This is another box. I don't think we currently connect anything to it. It's another like a.
The
I don't
top one
think it's-
doesn't.
That's why we need this workshop, right?
Well, basically, this is just the same thing like that one, but this one is not connecting to anything. This is like one of the power power distributor that you connect everything in it. You just have one switch that you could turn everything on and off.
Yeah, I
But we're
used to
not
do that
using the
too.
top one here. Yeah, so you don't need to. You don't need to turn on this one, but that one you do need to. I guess the key is, I guess every time when you switch on and off, you just, well, my drill is to mute everything, fader down, right? When you turn off things, speaker first, and then people are safely to unplug their instrument, right? Then you could go through the cycle, like the switches at the back, right?
Good, good. And in order to get that sequence right, we have to make sure the speakers are off before we turn on any instrument, right? When we come in, because sometimes I notice that like some people who like prepare Bibles, prepare the program, they already turn on the light and they accidentally also turn on everything, like all the three switches already. So we make sure those are off before we turn on any instrument. Yeah. So yeah, going back to my analogy about like Chinese New Year feast, think about if there's no food, right? People holding a plate, they're gonna be complaining like, why there's no food? Why there's no food? So you want all the food to be ready, so people won't make the sound of complaint. So that's like the pop, right? So I hope that helps. So prepare the signal path first, and then the speaker. So yep, yeah. Yes.
It won't, but it won't. It really matter is the I think it's a mixer between the mixer switch on and off, and then the speakers that it will get the pop. The reason we ask you to mute before you plug in it's for your hearing. Like you don't get damaged with your ear.
Yes, make sure mute that channel. Good. Okay. So now I'm gonna pass the time to Ray.
Yes. Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Ray. I don't know if you noticed, I switched mic because the blue mic is not. I don't like the blue mic today. So I just wanna say something before I start. I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert at all. It just I've been a Christian like more than 20 years. And I've been helping sound system with my previous churches. So it's more like learning through observations with other people, and I'm just here to share my experience. I know a lot of people here are serving different positions, or even you're not, you might have already
have different exposures with sound system. So I guess we just more like not like a teaching, but more like a sharing each other experience and find what works, what not works, and we'll improve it, something like that. And bear with me, I'm not a English speaker actually. My English was not my first language, and this is the first time I kind of like speak in front of people like a workshop. So bear with me. There's a lot of like sound terminology. Like I said, I'm not having like a professional training. It's more like I learn on the fly, like from time to time when I get the experience. So just bear with me. If you don't understand, just let me know. Then we'll figure things out. So I guess the text is really small here. I'm not expect you to read into it. It's more like a overview with the software, so that we kind of know what it's like, which switch is for what functions, things like that. So this is kind of like the main screen that you will see when you log into the XR apps, like you see here, right? So I guess a few things worth pointing out. It's like you see at the bottom, like all the channel already put in the order like this. We had our model is XR 18, which is a 16 channel. There's two, I forgot what I call, but it's for something else. It's for insert, yeah. So the actual channel that you could plug in is actually 16 channel that you could plug in. Like Corey already introduced, this is what we, not this screenshot, but we had the previous screenshot that Corey sent is what we have set up. Like the 4 mic will be the first 4 channels, right? And then followed by PC, Passer mic, Shure mic. Somehow we had a Shure mic, so we had that set up also. What else? Sorry, oh, okay. Okay, so at the top, there's a bunch of buttons. Those are very useful buttons that would bring you to different screen also. I will kind of go over each of them in a high level, and definitely we could talk into those. The first one, is it what I have next? No, actually the input. So let's go over the input first. Input, when you click into one of the channel label here, then you will actually go into the individual channel setup. And at the top, you will see the input tab. If you're not already on, you won't see these things, but right now I'm already on the input side, so you would be able to see this. Why this is important? This is where you control preamp, like how much of the volume that you allow the mic or the instrument to come in. That's very important because the reason I don't like the blue mic, I think something wrong with the preamp. So no matter how I adjust it, I still hear some cracking noise. So that's one of the first thing that I would do every time when I come here, I will check the preamp for each of the instruments. Sometimes it's changed because from time to time, the channel is supposed to connect to a mic, but due to different setup of and occasions, that channel has to be repurposed to plug in for an instrument. Then the preamp setting got changed. And unfortunately, sometimes we forgot to switch it back to the original setting. So the next person who come in, assuming that's a mic channel, and they just turn on thing, it just got the pop sound. Like this is just one of the scenario. In the mixer, it does have a function to save your, you could take a snapshot. Like every time when you set up things, you could take a snapshot and then next time you could record it. We could cover that later. But we didn't, like I believe in the past, we didn't really utilize that feature that much. So that's why from time to time there were some like weird things that happen. So usually for preamp is the mic gain that we need to pay attention. We are not using USB trim because everything it's go through mic. It's not a feed from a PC that utilize USB. So the only knock that is important is this one, right? Link, it's when you get to set up instrument that it's stereo, that you have 2 channels, you wanna pair them up with the fader. So you could click link and you could choose which 2 track to link them together. Then you could just have 1 fader to adjust that. But we didn't have that set up either because most of our channel it's mono. So unless we need it, then we could turn that on. The button next to it, number 6, it's important also. And the on and off, number 7, that's where you turn on and off high pass frequency. Does anybody know what's high pass frequency? Yes. High pass filter, yeah. Thank you. So that's also like a low cut, like every time when you, that's part of the EQ also. Like if you feel like the voice coming in so muggy, I don't know how that called, like something unwanted bass, like happen like down below here, then you would rather turn that off. Like usually we would turn it off for all the mics or the vocalists. For instrument, I normally just I would still turn it on, but I would keep it very low. Like all the instrument, the maximum that I would go to is like 70. For vocalists, it could get to 70 to 120, 140 is max. But it depends on, like, everybody's voice is different, right? So it really depends. Even if the same person coming in the next day, it won't sound the same thing. So it really depends on the years. Like if you can like, oh, Corey, he used to be 120, let me put it to 120. It might not work the next day. So it really depends. But it won't go like over too much. Yeah. Correct. Like for instrument, you don't want to cut too high because it will lose some of the I don't know how I call it in English, but like the signature of the instrument, right? So the only reason you want to put that on is to cut out some unwanted noise that happen in the low frequency, right? So that's one of the EQ thing that I would do to all everything, right? We could cover a little bit more EQ later, but let's move on. Equalizations. It's like each, like a voice or a sound. It's like a spectrum of sound. I don't know what I call. So it got split into different frequency, like low frequency, low, mid low, high low, high mid, sorry, and then high frequency. So it depends what you want, how you want it sound. Like if you want it warmer, then you might want to put more mid. You want to cut some unwanted low frequency, then you might want to work on 400 to 800s. If you want to make it more stand out for the vocalist, then you want to like push up to 2500 to 3500, something like that. But it really depends. My habit is I try to not touching EQ that much actually. Because if you set it up right, you don't really have to do much with EQ. You always want to do it to minus rather than boost up things. Like sometimes you feel like, oh, this voice is missing something. I feel like it's missing something. I want to like boost this range. Maybe it's would better, but actually it's not. It's actually sometimes you want to understand which part is not is need to be reduced. It's actually make it better when you do reduce rather than boost things up. So, but that's something more taking more time that to look at. So, and it again, this really depends on case to case. Yes, yes. Yeah. So the number that I mentioned is where you wanna the threshold that you want it to be set to allow what greater that it would go past, what lower that you wanna stop them. Yes. It will. Well, it would not show up in the graph, but when you turn on the RTA, like the dynamic, like these things, when I'm talking, when it jump up and down, you will see I don't have anything at the back because I turn on the high pass frequency already. Yeah, you can add like a couple ones. Like right now, my habit is I'm putting on to VEQ, which is doing things like well, I'm getting I'm getting more complicated right now. So there are actually different like types of EQ that you could choose from here. So low pass frequency is actually this one, but you like most of the mixer, they should have a separate button to control high pass filter. So you don't have to add one to your EQ mix. If you choose this one, oh, actually this is a high cut, sorry. This is working the same way like a high pass filter. Hmm? High pass. This is like a low. This is what they call low cut. It cut the low, but it's the same thing like you allowing the high frequency that go past. So that's actually working the same way like a high pass filter. So you don't need to like do both at the same time. It's kind of redundant. What I usually do is I will go to input. I turn on the high pass filter. And it should do the work the same way. From EQ, then I rather switch this to something called VEQ. So I make it more dramatic. Basically, you could choose one spot of the frequency. If you don't like that part, you could cut them. Like you could reduce that frequency, particularly. Usually when you cut things, you want to make the Y very narrow because you don't want to cut too much of everything else that you would still want, right? But when you add things, you might want to keep things Y because you don't want to I need to find a way how to describe it, but you don't want to boost up something, some frequency so specifically, like it won't sound right to my experience. But yeah. The voice cracking is because of the preamp is not setting up right. Yeah. So right now I'm at 70. No, actually I'm not at 70. This is low pass. I'm at 70. This is how I sound like, right? When I turn it up and you kind of like, but my voice is usually like, yeah, yeah. If you put the frequency very high, you will kind of feel like you are talking to the phone. So when I'm talking like this, hello, 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 hello. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, yes, mostly yes. Well, let me change back. Well, not exactly. If you had that setup, like if your single channel can pick up other instrument, that's a really wrong preamp setting. That you have bleeding, like yeah, you that's something else. Like it when you do EQ, it's more specific to the individual. Exactly. And I like what Pac's explanation is exactly what it means. Because the low frequency, actually human ear, you can hear it. You can really hear it, but it kind of bother you in some way if you keep it like keep it excess. Yeah. But if you cut too much, you will actually cutting what human can actually hear. Yeah. But my golden rule is not to push too much. You only need to like take care of what you don't want to hear. Like unless there's something that you would need, like something really wrong, then you will try to figure out if there's something you want to push it up. Um, Okay, what time is it? It's 3:14 already. Sorry, that's a 3:09 is 3:14. This is not right. The iPad is not. Oh, okay. All right. But yeah, that's you wanna I don't think we have enough time, but I feel like we had went through a lot of things already. All the other thing is more like how we wanna like describe the setup of a worship or like even prepare for the worships. A lot of the thing is not really how to me. If you set it up it right, you don't have to like adjust too much. It's so to me it's more like preparations beforehand. Like why I don't like the Blue May. I'm suspecting something that I had a assumption in mind. But when you already in the middle of a worship setting, you can do much of it, no matter how you EQ it, because that's not the core issues, right? So, but unfortunately, we don't have like too much time today. So I guess our goal is to, yeah, right. So a quick sneak peek for next time. Maybe we could cover something like compressor. I think it is really helpful. Gates, I hate it. I don't normally want to play with it unless I really need to. I'm not an expert with. Even right now, most of the time I would just keep it off, unless I need to put it on. So yeah. Show it's like a feature actually within Xair that you could actually save your whole set lineup, so you could record it. Because from time to time, when you're on the fly, like you don't have enough time to set up. Maybe you want to record last week's setting that you could quickly have some baseline to work on. So that's actually a good feature that we could utilize. Preset. It's similar to show, but preset in the app is like an individual channel copy, so you could duplicate your own setting, and then the next time different player coming in, you just record that player's profile. I didn't wrote it down, but we could talk more for EQ. We could talk more for what else? Layers. I've been playing layers. I need to confess, this morning I forgot to switch back the main layer. Layer is something that you could, because right now we have 16 tracks here, right? You don't need to use everything every week. Like to me, I don't like to scrolling left and right to find my channel. If you set up a layers, so this morning I'm doing my thing. I'm just using the green mic, white mic, piano, drum. I only had these things on my set, right? So I'm just put everything in one page. I don't have to switch around. I have 2 DCA group, which is to control vocalists altogether and singer altogether. I mean, instrument altogether. Like sometimes when you have solo part for the instrument, you might want to boost up all the instruments. or sometimes when the speaker is speaking something, but you still want to keep the background music. So you want to have the right balance. Like when the speaker's talking, you still want to hear the music, but you don't want it to be as strong as when it playing within a songs. You could adjust the DCA altogether. So you don't have to like individually adjust each of the instrument fader. I had 2 effects. That's actually already built in. I had 2 effects that in here. So if you turn on the effect, you will see in the concert. Yeah. Yeah. So it really depends. If you are singing a song, you might want to like use some of the effects to make the atmosphere more like. I like the work. Thank you. Yeah. So there's certain things that we could utilize, but we'll definitely look forward next time that we could get together and like go forward. Like have the mentality to be prepared, like what's going on next part, and actually what that's a good use of DCA then. So as if you have more instrument and you don't have time to do it one by one, you just do the DCA, then you just can lower all the instruments altogether. Yes. Yes. When you go into here, actually you click into it, all the yeah. Yeah. I forgot. I'll Google it for you, but it's too much gain. It's too much gain. Actually, there's a gain reductions inside the mic, but the issue is like before, I don't know how it's set up. It's something to do with YouTube because the YouTube feed, if you don't like turn it up enough for the gain, they don't hear. So I've been really taking the responsibility this month. I've been playing around with the gain to make sure what is the right spot to eliminate the grabbing mic sound, but at the same time, YouTube would have enough gain that they could hear. Right. Correct. That's the compressor setting. That um, compressor is easy and helpful to use, so I would definitely cover that next time we met. So basically, you see why I'm talking here. I could set up how the threshold where the compressor take effect, right? When you see the other side had a little bit is that already cut out some of the peaking noise. Because when you're talking, it really depends on the speaker. Like sometimes they would start with very low, but at certain point when the person got exciting, they would just speak louder, right? Same thing to the instrument. Like when they playing the intro, it will be very low, right? So you could set up compressor this way. They would cut a certain peak. Then you could decide how many makeup gain to put it back.
It's not the end. We will come back. I think it's a great exploration for us. Realizing this in January and developing a team expert. He said he's not an expert. I think he's an expert. So he really is in charge of our audio, in the Chinese side. I think that goes the same for table. I think having two people is so important. Just so much involved with sound. So in part 2, we will have at the end of the year. We just need a little bit more preparation. Aiming for September, October, aiming for that time after the summer. We did have a Q&A and then some troubleshooting that we wanted to show, but we will also cover that next time. So. Just back.
It's kind of hard to show without like an actual like voice team like playing.
Yes. We wanted to. Yes, we wanted to.
It would be helpful to do like a live like demo. Because like even when Ray was talking about some concepts, I feel like I was like, oh, can you play with like the language?
Yeah.
So like people could hear like what it actually. I feel like it was helpful.
And if you're, well, thank you. Thank you. He's like, oh, I don't want to do this. But he's such an expert. Thank you. And recruitment, Steve, if you're interested ever in sound, recruiting you for sound recruitment. Okay. Oh, okay. So think about it. Pray about it. Okay. I think this is it. Any other last thoughts? If not, then we guess we'll call it a day. Should we pray to end? I mean, I don't know. I didn't pray to begin, but we did pray upstairs. We were very nervous. So I guess we can pray to end. I think it'll be a good time. So Lord, we're so thankful for this time of knowledge building, team building. We know there's so much that we can do for the church, for you. May we serve with humble hearts. May we continue to have good ears. And may we continue to learn to love and share and serve with one another. May we, as we leave today, may you give us a good health as we continue this week, and as we continue to practice for Good Friday and Easter service, may you continue to guide us and be with us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Thank you.